Okay, this is Mr. Rock Robster here. I'm at work. Larry brought in some arrowheads that he's gotten. Where did you say you get these from, Larry?
My wife's uncle.
From where at?
In Dover, Missouri.
Dover, Missouri.
Yeah. He used to walk the plowed fields in springtime. Find them out in the fields.
Every time they plowed up.
Yeah.
This one here is really nice. It's got a small curvature to it on both sides. I'm not really sure what kind of rock it is. It's really pink. It might show up better when I do the video retouch later on tonight. Here's another one. I'm not sure if this one's real or not. I think this one's been retouched just because of the way it looks. It doesn't have that signature curvature to it that most of your aboriginal arrow points have. But nevertheless, it's still a nice point. He's also got some broken pieces here that obviously they, when they were working them, they decided to discard them after they broke. This one here is missing the ear off of it, but it's this tremendous green and black color. And then this one here, I'm just going to say that they were just kind of playing around with it because it's just kind of rounded, or it might have been a scraping tool at one point and just been retouched so many times that it's no longer usable. Alright, well I will get casts and measurements of these and we'll see what we can make. Here's some of my rocks that I found in the Flint Hills here. I'm going to say a lot of it is really junk because once I brought it home and tried it out, you knock a flake off there in the field, but it doesn't quite do what you want it to do when you get home with it. So I think this is just going to end up in my garden out front. Here's another piece of that rock that I tried the other day. As you can see, it just pretty much broke right off in half. So I'm going to say the rest of this is just pretty well junk rock. I'm going to throw it in the rock garden out there. It's almost like a little simple hand axe, isn't it? We might hold on to that one. Here's a few hammer stones that I picked up. A nice little flat surface there. There's another small one. I got several large ones. I'm just trying to collect a few small ones now. This one here didn't quite work as a hammerstone. It ended up breaking most of my stuff. But I do have, here's just a few pieces of the small chert and flint that I found that is flakeable. This just wouldn't fit in my roaster here. We'll add all that later on when I get a little bit more rock. But right now I have about 20 pounds worth of black obsidian that I've been playing with. So, we'll see what I come up with. Alright, in the first part of the video that I did earlier, the gentleman I work with, Larry, brought in that arrowhead for me, and I took a few measurements off of it, and a few dimensions, things like that. I'll get to all that later on, but this is the rock that I intend on trying to reproduce the arrowhead that he showed me, but the rest of it here is just stuff I'm going to go ahead and cook. All this is just various cherts that I found around my hometown here in Kansas City, and some of it comes from the Flint Hills here. Right, this one here came from the Flint Hills. It's kind of grainy, but it flakes, so we're going to cook it and see if we can make it a little bit better. I got several types here, ranging from white to black, orange, so hopefully it cooks well and makes it a little bit more flakeable for me. So we're going to start loading this up here. Putting all this smaller stuff, I'm going to put it all out to the outer side here so it gets real hot. Alright. Fill the voids with all the sand here. Now I learned this technique of the cooking with this turkey roaster here from Bow Hunter on YouTube there. Some of his videos are quite informative. I'm just using a dry sand here so that there's no moisture in there. I'm going to start the temperature off probably about 150 degrees for probably about 2 hours or so, and then I'll slowly start going up to about 50 degrees an hour until I get to, I'm going to say roughly 450 degrees, 425, just depends kind of how I feel at the time. Then I'll let it cook, well, roughly anywhere from 10 to 24 hours. Just like I said, all just depends on how I feel at the time. I've been experimenting with this cooking at various times and keeping track of how it flakes and the temperatures that I flake it at. So we might just go ahead and take this one to 450 since I don't have anything that I've really marked down in my book about 450 yet. Alright, let's go ahead and add another layer. Now this rock here, I found this down by the river. Next to the Missouri River here, underneath the bridge that they're rebuilding for us. It flakes, but it's kind of grainy, so I'm not sure, but I'm going to go ahead and cook it anyway. See what happens. Worst thing it could do is it explodes. And that's why my cooker's in the garage, so if it explodes, it doesn't hurt anything, other than my tools. Which my wife really wouldn't bother her if my tools were destroyed. I'll put all these thinner pieces on the outside here so they get good and hot, so hopefully it helps the flakeability. I got a fairly nice sized chunk of it still. I'm going to put it in the center. Okay. More sand until I get it full. I got a few other pieces over here that I'm going to add to it of various cherts that I found around the Flint Hills. I found a few promising places to go back to, just got to find the time to go back to them. Now if anybody can tell me what kind of rock this is, would be greatly appreciated. I'm still learning the different types of rock, different colors and things like that you can produce, different rocks that you can flake. What's left of my rock here, I'm going to put it closer to the outside. Sheer fact that it's just at the top here, so it may not get nearly as hot. Alright, and then just a matter of filling the rest of it up here and turning it on. Just trying to make sure there's no voids, anything showing. I want a fairly smooth surface here that once it gets warm it's going to stay that way. And once I turn it off, it's going to take 2 or 3 days for it to cool off completely before I go ahead and pulling the rock out of here. I want it to cool down completely before I do anything with it. I tried some here a couple weeks ago. When I pulled it out immediately, I started flaking it. Flaked really great. Great until the rock basically cooled off, and once it cooled off it didn't flake quite as well. So we're going to go ahead and let this one cool down completely. Alright, on goes my lid, and it looks like I've bent it already. We're going to turn it up here to 150, and I got to plug it in now. Okay, I've got it turned on. It's 150 degrees. The time is, let's see here. The time is, as if you can see that, it says 1:08. So at 3:08 we'll come back, roughly 2 hours or so, and we'll turn it up 50 degrees an hour from there until we get to pretty much maxing it out at 450. Alright, We'll post some more later once this is cooked.